We'll get started in a few. Welcome, day 5. Make sure you got some water, clear the space, get your smell goods. So, the intention for today is I walk through the door. Now I'm here for my guidance. And this is self talking to self. So, 4 is the door. And now we're on day 5. And now, since we walked through the door, we need to start using that intuitive guidance that we seek within our hearts. So how do we do that? And that's what we'll be going over today. So I'll give us about 2-3 more minutes to get situated, get your back erect, get straight, get ready for the side breathing and deep breathing. Take a couple breaths before a couple breaths. And if you could just post in the chat if y'all are seeing everything okay and hearing everything okay. Okay, cool. We can begin our side breathing in about 30 more seconds. Get yourself, situated, back straight, release any tension you might have. Or if you weren't aware of it, try to bring awareness to it and send light and love to that area. So I'll start us off with the breathing like usual, and then I'll mute myself and I'll come back in to finish us off. So let's begin. Uh, Try to drop your shoulders as much as you can on the exhales. One more minute. I'll finish this off. Mm. Mm. Okay. Gotta take the 3 deep breaths. Release any muscles that you might be holding on to, like the shoulder blades or the shoulders, the legs, the face, the tongue, even, the temple, the eyebrows, the frontal lobe, the nose, the fingertips, just to kind of just start bringing awareness to different parts of your body to relax when we do these deep breathings. So let's begin. Inhale as much as you can to your own pace. Exhale slowly. Drop the shoulders. Inhale. On this one, I want you to hold for at least 3 to 4 seconds at the top of your inhale. And then release slowly, extending it a little bit longer than your inhale. And then one more. Inhale. Do the same thing. Release slowly while dropping the shoulders. All right, let's jump in. We in this thing. We didn't walk through the door. we made it past the midway point, right? So now we need a little. Now we trying to like figure out the guidance system pretty much, and this is why we're here today. So as you can see, I put like this little. It's like a garden, like you could. That's I don't know. That's how I see it, like this magical garden, and today's journey is guidance through the heart. So it's like you see this little trail, and you see this like little heart shape, encrave from the mountain. And it's like, where do I go? And he's like, more likely you're gonna want to walk through the heart. So let's begin. Let's move forward. So this is like, all right, we walk through and there's like more, there's more. All right. A deeper view of intuition. As more of humanity practices heart-based living, we will qualify for the rite of passage into the next level of consciousness. I am actually I raise my hand to that. Like I put myself I don't know if I should say I put myself. So once I started more living through my heart, I started to realize that I was opening up more doors or more awareness to my consciousness or more realization to myself, right? So this is kind of why this is said here. So I'll like repeat it with that in mind. A deeper view of intuition. As more of humanity practices heart-based living, we will qualify for the rite of passage into the next level of consciousness. So using our heart's intuitive guidance, we will become sorry, let me repeat. Using our heart's intuitive guidance will become common sense, practical intelligence. So it'll be like, instead of you, like we repeated in, or we said in a couple of the other builds on the other days of the activation, that once you start to like use your heart's intuition to guide you with answers and which way to go and things like this, right? Instead of like getting into the mental about it and starting to get into a past or a future projection and not living in the now and being able to respond off your heart's guidance instead of reacting to the past or the future projection that you created in the moment, right? So using your heart's intuitive guidance will become common sense, practical intelligence by doing these things. As you know, listening to the heart, as we, you know, the steps we went day by day, these are steps you could take to become, to let the heart's guidance and intuitive guidance become more common to you. There is a universal intelligent life force that exists within everyone and everything. It resides within each one of us, a deep wisdom and an inner knowing. So that's why I said all the time to, you know, the community and the ones that have the open ear to hear, like everything that you want or think that you need, or any aspect of this, like you already have it, but you have to be able to tap in and into that heart's power, you know, that superpower. Like that's just one of the superpowers. Like you have your own unique abilities, right? But you have to be able to tap into the wisdom which is in your heart. Like your heart knows all. It knows what you desire, it knows what you don't desire. Like, you know, but sometimes the mind kind of interferes with that, and it's like, nah, I want this or I want that, right? Or you think you can't have something, and it's like you already have it. Because if you can even think about it, that's something that you want, it means you've already projected something like that before, right? So that's why you have to go in the heart, so you can get that guidance to how to bring it here. Like how can I bring that, you know, here? So that's the inner knowing, right? So we can access this wonderful source of knowledge and wisdom through our intuition and our inner sense that tells us what feels right and true for us at any given moment. So this is what we went over in the previous activations of the days. So the inner sense or the intuition will, when you listen to the heart and you really listen, like we talked about, because it's like the beat is telling you like, oh, I'm in panic mode or I'm in relaxation mode, right? Due to your breathing and due to your thumping of your heart. And if you could listen to that, you could tell where you're at, right? So whenever you could start to follow that guidance, that inner voice, when it starts to become more and more common sense to you, you do right what feels right to your vibration, right? To your field, to your heart at any given moment, because now you're starting to follow that awareness of like, you know, it's like you use, and it's not like you don't use the logic, because the logic, you know, it's this is the part of having the full heart. You got to bring the logic with the emotional, right? Or the logical thinking with the emotional thinking, right? And marry those two. This is the literally the masculine and the feminine, as we're calling it, right? So these are the energies that we have to intertwine, and when we, in order to do this, is like not only how we talked about the journaling, but the speaking with that side of yourself, and wanting to see that side of yourself, and you know, the side you don't see, pretty much, like the kind of the side that you don't accept, or you hide from yourself, right? This is the healing. This is the true healing. And it's when you do that work, when you bridge these two hemispheres or energies, or, you know, marriage, the however it is, it makes it easy for your logical brain to see it. like that you need to bring that other part of the brain in. And this is why we use symbols and pictures, right? Because in the East, this is how, while they have all these crazy ancient maps and pictures, right? Because they're like trying to draw out the other side of the brain, right? Like, oh, this is what I got from, the unknown. That's why I'm like, journal this stuff, because once you start bridging it all together and start bridging it to your logical, this is like, how can I say, bridging science to spirituality, you could say, if we want to bring it to more modern terms, I guess. Like the science side is more like the West. Like, we're using all the logical things of our brain to try to figure out what all this stuff is going on, like the atoms and the cells and all these different things, right? And then you got the East, which is just like, you could think of it like the poles too, like the different poles that are on the other side, really, like meditating, like in a room full lotus, like in the unknown, journeying, journaling. This is all the ancient Sanskrit is what they call it. Like, this is what all this is. And once we learn how to pull these two together, it's like you're activated at this point. Like there ain't no telling. Like, everybody's unique, so I'm not gonna sit here and tell you what you could do, but I know what I could do. And it's like, this is what I want to help everyone with, is like activate this part of their being, which is bridging the left and right hemispheres, or the poles, or the electric and the magnetic, right? All these phrases and terms we can give it to being able to marry the two, and being able to operate what feels right in our heart, like it says here, and true at any given moment. So it's not like, oh, we start getting stressed out about it, or should I do this? Should I do that? Like, you'll know what to do. It's no more questioning. There's just listening. You see, there's a difference. So let's move on. And I got these 3 things I wanted to give y'all, because with all these presentations, you actually need something to remember this, not only, and of course, yes, we'll have the recording, but you want this in your own space, right? Like, where you could see it, and you can actually be consistent and precise about the technique to get you there. So 3 ways that you can efficiently tune in and turn up the volume of your intuition, right? Because it's like, how do I hear that more? How do I get the guidance? How do I listen to that, right? So spend time alone without the distraction of technology is one. Write in a journal is another. And try setting a time limit to make decisions. So instead of getting in your head about it, make a time limit. Say, if I don't answer it within that time limit, then that now you're in the vast. You're in, like, in the good bad section, right? So try to give yourself a time limit, so you could, like, be able to listen to the heart and answer from there, instead of getting into the duality. Because the brain, the brain is always going to be there. It's always going to come and say something, right? So just be able to, because you hear your brain. I know we all can hear the brain, right? So mix that in with the heart, like being able to, like, listen to the heart and the brain is a power. So that's why the 3rd one is try setting a time limit to make decisions. And you might think, well, what if I don't use my logic, like, and I just go off my heart, then what if this happened, right? And this is the ego, which is cool. That's what I'm saying. It's always going to be there. But that's what I'm saying. You're guided, and the heart, when you could tap into that field of trust, really, truth, trust, right? It will guide you, and you would know. The logic would the logic was like, oh, like, okay, like, you'll start seeing stuff where it's like, okay, I need to pay more attention, right? Like, you'll start being more aware of your field, your aura, your heart, and the mind. Like, this is the bridge. This is like the full heart, as you see her holding in the back. It looks like this is the back of her, right? And this is the trip, what I'm seeing right now, because last night, so one of the members advised me to sleep with a certain crystal right on my chest before I went to sleep. And yeah, I breathed with it for like 15 minutes. This was a rose quartz. I got a rose quartz tower. I breathe with it for like 15 minutes. And then I kind of play with it a little bit and I go to sleep, right? And I wake up and I can't go back to sleep. I'm thinking about this, I'm thinking about that. You know, the ego comes in, blah, 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 right? And then I'll just turn over, right? And the somehow the crystal, like it fell off the pillow because I had it on the side pillow, not even the pillow I was sleeping on a side pillow, and it fell off the pillow and I turned around and it hit me right in the back. But it hit me in the back from where my heart was at. So what this made me realize was like, wow, like maybe I'm not seeing that side of myself, the backside, right? And I'm like, how did I see that? And it's just like, man, close your eyes, listen to your heart. Because it's like we want to be able to see 360, right? But we're only seeing what? Like 90 degrees. So enable to turn on your full being. This is the power. This is able to see 360 degrees, your true self, right? So these are just things that will help you. Writing in your journal, spend time alone without distraction of technology. So let me like kind of speak on this a little bit. What I learned, what you could do is you just get away from all the technology for a second, turn off your phone. You could start it off with 10 minutes. And as you progress, you could boost it 20, 30, 40, whatever, you know. And then with that, while you're away from that, pay attention to the thoughts. See how your thoughts are carrying. This is the pattern. This is the loop. This is how you're thinking, right? And you'll really be aware of that if you're not letting all this affect the field and your thought patterns. So once you become aware of your thoughts, you can not only rewire yourself, but you can start setting real intention affirmations. So it's like, all right, this is where, like, you know, I don't like when my patterns go in that thought pattern, right? So you set an intention, which is an affirmation pretty much to suggest yourself, maybe I should think like this. And this alone will set you, like, you know, say you're a person that kind of lets because I read plenty of books, and one of these books they mention, like, you know, the thoughts, how does it get explained? The thoughts alone, like they're heavy. Like the thoughts will bring you down. Like if you don't fortify your mind with your thoughts on more happy thoughts, pretty much pursuit of happiness and things like this, exercising, eating good, yoga, you know, like the thoughts will weigh you down. And if you haven't seen that already, like it's all around us. You know, we see people, they get depressed, they get stressed. This is what this is. It's because they're not fortifying themselves. They're not fortifying their minds to let all this external, you know, energies and fields and vibrations and frequencies to affect us, and not even like doing anything about it, just like autopiloting it, you know. But that's what I mean. If once you get away from the technology for a little bit, I'm around it all the time, you know, but I do remind myself, like, hey, like you need to ground yourself, or like you need to become aware of how you're thinking, right? And this is like, this is the process here of guiding yourself through the heart. Because if you don't know like what's going on here, then you think you do, that's ego. That, like, it's like, yeah, I'm the doer, I know what I'm doing, right? Like, and it's like, do you? So that's just like questions you got to question yourself, right? Sometimes. So writing in the journal, that alone will help you, like, oh yeah, let me remind myself to become aware of my thoughts, you see? So we just need those reminders. So you are an expression of your ancestral heart. In fact, it is your ancestors that dreamed you into existence. Your entire body is made up of the genetics and DNA of all your ancestors that lived long before you were born. I'm gonna repeat that. Your entire body is made up of the genetics and DNA of all your ancestors that lived long before you were born. So what does this mean? It means that all the knowledge that's been here on this realm, on this place, even beyond here, really, because our ancestors are still traveling, they're still journeying. Some has made it, they went back home, but some of them, you made a vow to try to help humanity awake, right? So it's like all the knowledge is there. That's why I said you could find all of us here. Where's here? Within, in the heart, right? But you got to listen. And to listen is to go into the silence sometimes. Like, and that sometimes might be hard. But if you keep trying, like we discussed in the superpower, like if you keep, watering that plant, nurturing that plant, the flower eventually will bloom. Don't worry about when it's going to bloom. The timing will be just right. Your ancestors know this, you know this. You just maybe forgot because all the paths that everybody's trying to uniquely make now, like our ancestors did. So, but like in order to do this, it takes a lot of what should I say, dedication and love, but not any love. It's like unconditional love. Like, do you really want this? Not only for others, but for yourself, because self is other. So it's only the illusion or, the magic of it that we think we're separate. It's like the mirror, right? So, and a lot of the ancient texts, they call it Maya, which is a part of the illusion, which is like the tentacles is how they call it, like an octopus, how they call it, testicles, tentacles, the different arms. I don't know how you call it, but basically these are the five senses, right? And if you let those lead you on about doing everything, you're like leading on more and more to the external, right? And you're going more and more down the labyrinth, which is the maze, which is what we're calling today the rabbit hole, right? And it's like, it's like you're on a hula hoop loop, like, and until you wake up, you will always be on that. So this is why, like, my reminder about, the guidance through the heart. It's like, this is how you guide through yourself through that, out of that, in that. It's more of like, you got to go in to get out type of thing. It's like everything we've been taught half of, which is the logic, right? So it's like, all right, now let's bridge in that other side of self, or other hemisphere, other pole, or, our masculine or our feminine, depending on the half of you that you are right now, like what you need to activate that other side, which will activate your full being, right? And then that's why I say, like, I can't tell you what you can do from there, like, because only your uniqueness will pull that out. So, and our ancestors, that's why I put all this here. Like, I'll read through it again with the the verbal that I just went through, so you could just keep everything in mind, like how important our ancestor is. Like, you are your ancestor, like it's all here, right? So you are an expression of your ancestral heart. In fact, it is your ancestors that dreamed you into existence. Your entire body is made up of the genetics and DNA of all your ancestors that lived long before you were born. And like, let's just breathe real quick and thank the ancestors. As we give thanks for the wisdom that they left us to see what we see being created today. Even do you a little sigh. All right. And get a drink of water, because that burned up a little fuel, a little prana. You can even see the oceans flowing. So As a spiritual medium and a psychic who walks between worlds, I live with 2 feet standing on the earth and my heart connected to the spirit world. So, and we're definitely going to dive into like what this means in later builds, but just to speak briefly on it. And I'll repeat the same. So, as a spiritual medium and a psychic who walks between worlds, I live with 2 feet standing on the earth and my heart connected to the spirit world. Remember what I said about the heart, how it's like, it like bridges you to the higher realms, right? So in order for you to even get to the higher realms or higher consciousness or however it is that you see it, right? Higher intelligence, cosmic consciousness, there's a lot. There's a lot of titles. So you just remember your feet and your lower centers, like your lower chakras, your energies, right? It's planted, it's grounded on the earth. Don't worry, you're set, you're grounded, like, but just remember your heart is what's connected to the spirit world. So if you want to understand the unknown, where do you go? The heart. And then once you go to the heart, it goes beyond, like, all this stuff that I'm talking about. This is just the beginning. Like, it goes beyond. It's saying here, what? I live with 2 feet standing on the earth and my heart connected to the spirit world. So it's saying with knowing that my heart is connected to the spirit world, there's the door, right? We walked through the door already. I'll let you know that. Yesterday we walked through the door. You're in. So today, day 5, we are guiding ourselves and each other through the heart, right? I see you. You see me. We all see each other in the heart. So I know that your loved ones wish for love and healing. They might not have expressed that when they were alive, but once they are bathed in the love of the other side, they wish to share that love to begin the process of healing the entire family. I'm going to repeat this. I know that your loved ones wish for love and healing. They might not have expressed that when they were alive, but once they are bathed in the love of the other side, they wish to share that love to begin the process of healing the entire family. Like I was saying the other day, like, if one of us are hurt, right, we're all hurt. So the more we can heal ourselves, the more we can heal each other, right? And the more we can follow this intuitive guidance, the more we can see our abilities to our own superpower and the superpowers that were already led for us, that we just need to awaken to, and just, oh, hey there, I remember you, like, it's like when you see it, it's like you'll feel like it's a long lost friend or something, or a long lost loved one or something, right? Especially if you've been through this, right? That's what I'm saying. If you've been through this, this is a reminder, and if you haven't, this is to show you that can be done. I'm how can I say, I'm a walking witness to it, or a walking, like, I've done it, so I could show others, like, hey, these are the steps that I've took. Maybe this might help you, take this activation, how I did, the steps I took, and not only that I took, but plenty others of that walk the path. That's what a path is. It's a journey, that's been set out. And now there's a course, like we're going through, there's a course here. What is the course doing? The course is setting you on the right path. And we know, because of ancestral beings, and our ancestors, however you want to say it, has walked the path, and they know this path leads in good directions, right? Not that there's a good or bad direction in the past, but it's just like, know what path you're taking and how it's leading you, because once you start trying to create your own path, which is, I'm not going to say is good or bad, it's fine. I believe that that's uniqueness, but there's a lot of things that come with that, and that's the odyssey. And there's just to say, hey, there's a lot of paths set out that our ancestors had laid out for us to be able to walk without falling off the tracks in this big abyss, in this big universe, in this university, right? So that's what I just wanted to speak a little bit about. Like, all of us, like going to the other side, feeling that bathing of that unconditional love, coming back with it and trying to heal everybody. And if you just, you know, it's like, oh man, I can't do that. Or can you? Because it's like the way to do that is by healing yourself. And the more you heal yourself, everything's a reflection, right? So you'll start even pulling stuff in your awareness. Is like, okay, now people are trying to help themselves. Now people, you know, are doing the breathing, they're doing the yoga, they're eating right. They're, you know, it's just like lead by example. That's really what this is. When you really want to help somebody, it comes down to that. That's why I got the little eye here. It's like we all see you. It's like I see you. Like, you know, we see you, especially the ones doing the work. So, and the work is healing thyself, knowing thyself, and the entire family. And who's the entire family? All of us. So the last slide. This, I love this picture here, because it's like holding the world, right? And it's like, oh man, we need to fix, not even that we need to fix it. It's everything's perfect. It's beautiful, right? There's imbalances here. Yeah, there's always that. But I feel like now we're coming to awakeness and awareness of like we are the earth, right? Our body is the earth. The elements is within us. And when we start to realize that and really like stop confusing ourselves with like, oh, nature is the elements, which in a sense, it's like a paradox. In a sense, it's, and I want to take myself back on that, because this is what I'm learning. Because everything that's out here is coming from within. And I think this is why we confuse ourselves when we say, oh yeah, water, fire, earth, air, right? In nature. But what is nature? When you start to break it down, it's like, okay, this is the mechanics. This is how stuff works in the realm here, right? So, but where did all that come from? It came from you. It came from your mind. So if you know anything about the mind, there's the four quadrants. It's like a cross. It's like the different parts, right? You got the left side and you got the right side, the hemispheres, but they cross off, like, which make four parts. And what are these four parts? These four parts are the elements: air, earth, fire, and water, right? Or you can even, you know, the archangels, or, you know, there's a lot, the lion, the snake, the bird, and the pharaoh. You know, there's a lot of different symbolism behind it, and we will break this down in different builds. But I just wanted to bring you awareness to like the elements are within, right? And when we are more in control, then these are healthy, right? And inside of us, now we're healing the earth, because you are the earth. Your body is the earth, part of it. The water of it is your blood. The air is your breathing, right? The fire is like the cells, like the neutrons, the electricity, electricity. Sorry, but I'm just trying to break it down for you into like an internal and external sense of it, right? So it clicks for you. So whether you have created your own children for the future or not, you are still the grandmothers, grandfathers, aunties, and uncles in future generations. The ancestors call us to right the wrongs on the earth, to stabilize the future of Mother Earth and for all who live here. So this is what we're doing, right? We're healing not only self, but like ancestral, like past, like stuff that's in our DNA that we're still, you know, we're traumatized by. We don't even know what we're traumatized by. And it's because you've been here. like just imagine for a second what us as humans are, as us as beings being here on earth since you know the Stone Age. Like imagine what we had to go through. That's us, you know. No matter how you know the story, it's within. The real story is within. You can find it there if you really want to know what happened. That's what I've had full blast visions, and I was like, whoa, like, you know, you better be thankful that like it's what a time to be alive. You're right on time to even be seeing what you're seeing right now. Like this is a blessing, you know, and it could be a curse too. Like this is the the ebb and flow of things, but it's all beautiful. It's not the curse, like you know. It's not like that. This is all beautiful. It all is a part of the cosmic drama, as I like to call it, and a lot of the ancient texts call it, because it's just all a dream, right? Why do they even say wake up? You need to wake up. Why are they saying that? What do we need to wake up from? Like just even realize that. And like Will, you know, like I said, this is just to bring awareness to like the guidance of your heart and how to stabilize yourself, to stabilize. It's like we all want to help Mother Earth. How do we do that? Yourself. Like just even give yourself a hug right now. Because it's like bringing awareness to, okay, I know what I need to do now. And like, let's read this again. It says, the ancestors call us to right the wrongs on the earth, to stabilize the future of Mother Earth, and for all who live here. So imagine like what we're doing right now, the past we're setting and all this, right? For future generations to come. Imagine what they'll be seeing from what we built. And we need to be able to remind them like, hey, don't forget about us. Where can you find us? And in unity is in the heart. So that's what I have for today on guidance through the heart. I want to give thanks for the ancestors and for the ones showing up for self and the ones that will show up for self. You're right on time, whether you're here for the recording or you watching you're here for the live or you're watching the recording. You're right on time, because this travels between space and time. Once you leave time, you realize where we're all at, right? It's right now. And that's where? In the heart. And where is the heart going to take us? Where is it going to guide us? What is it connecting it to? To the spirit world, where all is one. So I trust that these, you know, these quotes and these teachings and, you know, just my journey of experiences that I wanted to bring to you, that I know can help in ways to activate your heart. And we'll go as far as we need to take this. Because it's not even until I start feeling people feel like, all right, now I'm using my uniqueness. Now I'm using my ability. Now I'm moving with unconditional love, right? And I'm still even using my logic, but I'm using my unconditional love with the logic. And it's like it all click, right? So I want to hear that kind of feedback, and I'll continue to do this stuff until I hear that. So I'd like to open it up if anybody wanted to say anything, any questions, any comments, or if you just wanted to keep it silent, that's fine as well. We'll keep it open for like 10 minutes or however long it is that we go. Ask all to unmute. I don't know if I think I muted you again. Hold on. Okay.
That was beautiful, honey, as usual, but I have no questions.
Okay, but don't forget, like, this is what I want us to know, like, you know, for future watchers and here now, like, it's really good to ask any kind of questions that you might have, because from here we're going up. you know? Or I don't know, it's more, I shouldn't say up, we're expanding. So it's like, if you're lost in anything, or if you have any questions, you know, now's the time, or for like they forever hold your peace pretty much. Cause it's like, hey, this is just, like I said, this is just the beginning. You know, this is actually leading on to a master build course that's coming. So this is like the ones that are here now and the ones that might be watching this later, just know that there's something beyond that's coming. So if you like this, just, you know, stay tuned for what's to come. So I'll repeat again one more time. Is there any questions? And if not, that's cool too. You know, I just wanted to let that be known. Like, the questions are good, you know, because closed mouths don't get fed. That's a real thing. So
Well, I mean, I guess I'm not really
and if
dealing.
you have, if you like want to build on it, like maybe, and I'm gonna create something for that, like for questions like, oh, now I got the question, right? So I'll have like a little box where you could put in those questions and I can answer them and further builds, right? Especially for the ones that don't like, you know, you don't want to speak, or, you know, you're a little shy on the camera. Like, you could still ask me questions. You could just, you could put them in the chat, or I'll build the little questionnaire program to where I could come back and say, hey, this was somebody's question in a recent build, right? So
Right.
just so to be aware about. So you'll be like, ah, now I got the question, but you know, so it's like, if you can't think about the question now towards, you know, this subject, or really any subject, then no worries, we could handle that later. But I'm just saying, we're expanding from here. So if you start to get lost later, it's maybe because you didn't get something here, is what I'm getting at. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's just a matter of practicing it. This week, not we're really around too many people, and I'm, diving into my studies and stuff. So I just always, try to remember what you say, and when I do deal with people or have to think about anything, on a serious note, what is my heart saying? I always ask myself that. So
Yeah, and give yourself a like in that journal-based prompt, give yourself a time limit, right? To make the decision. Because if you, so say you made the limit, so say your limit's 20 to 30 seconds, or however long it is, and then you go beyond that limit before making the decision. Now you're in the maze. Now you're wandering in the thought process, right? Now you don't know what you need to do, if or what, yes or no. Like, you know, you're in the maze. So that's why that part right there was important, for to create a decision timer, pretty much, for things like that. And this can be, you could use this with anything, like it's with food, with, you know, where am I going today? Like, should I go out with this person? Like, should I do, you know what I'm saying? Like, any little thing, it's like, if you don't click, like if you don't answer that, it's because your heart knows the answer before the mind. So if you, and this takes practice, but once you start to learn how to tune in, which I gave you the little prompts, and we could do further prompts and later builds, but the little prompts, and to be aware of, like, to hear and listen and to follow the intuition. And then once you do that, you like, it syncs with the mind. It's somehow they in love now. Like, instead of you battling yourself, you see, in the maze, and like all these crazy thoughts coming in, now it's like, okay, it's like you made that decision, and it's like, it knows it's what's up. It's like, oh yeah, you know what's up. Like, all right, it's like your heart and your mind talking to each other. Because they all are brains, right? The organs all, they're doing their jobs. So when you start getting them to work together more, because that's why I was talking about in recent builds too, like the organism, like, you got all these different organs, and like, you like, how are they working? Did you ever ask yourself? It's like we know more about the world than we know about ourselves. And it's like, if I was to sit here and ask you, how does your liver work? You wouldn't even be able to tell me, right? Or how does your esophagus, you could say, oh, I use that to drink water, I swallow, right? That's how my esophagus works. But I mean, like, the details of the internal working is of the alchemy of it. Like when you eat food and when it goes down, do you know how that system works? You see what I'm saying? So it's like understanding self. Like, I feel like we got enough of this, right? It's not even that we got enough, because this is infinite, really. But it's like, I feel like we gathered enough tools and knowledge and friends and family and, books and schools and to learn about this external realm. Okay, now what do we know about the internal realm, right? Which a lot of the guidance for that is in the heart. And you could read a lot about it, but I'm telling you now, the heart, like, you can't really read about this map. You see? This, what are they calling it now these days? The Ark of the Covenant. That's you. And they're still looking for it, right? They're still looking. Oh, where's the Ark of the? We found it. You've been found it. It's you. So, but in order to travel though that realm, the unknown, right? This is the deep divers. These are the people going in the ocean. This is metaphorically speaking. Going in, and I'll bring it straight forward too. Metaphorically speaking, like going deep in the ocean, which is the unknown, right? We don't know what's down there. It's like we're traveling in space and we don't even know nothing else in the ocean still. So it's like we go down there and we blame ourselves sometimes. We're like I'm trying to meditate, I'm trying to do yoga, do this and do that, right? And my brain, my ego keeps getting away. Well, it's like, don't blame like yourself or the meditation, like blame it. Maybe like you need to learn how to dive more. You see what I'm trying to get to here? Learn how to dive a little bit more deeper each day, maybe. And this comes with practice. It's not like a scuba diver or something like that could just go to the ocean and go straight all the way down, right? It takes days and days of practicing how to control your breathing, your anxiety. Like, dude, if you've ever even watched videos or actually been to scuba diving lessons or something like that, you know that the ocean drops. And when it drops, there's nothing but deep darkness, right? So this is the side like we're like, I'm all right. I don't want to. But when you go in there, there's stuff for you, showing you stuff you ain't seen before and stuff you forgot. Right. And it's just self. It's a lot of people might look at it, oh, darkness, evil, bad, right? But this is just a same side of the same coin, right? Two sides of the same coin. And that's why I said I don't see the back of me, but I felt my heart on the back of me. You see what I'm saying? I'm trying to make a point here. I'm trying to get to a point. And it's like, we need to be able to always be able to see 360 degrees. And it's not that, okay, let me be able to, because this is where we get confused. Let me be able to turn on my different beings, right? Or like my different bodies, because we have multiple bodies, but we're only going to speak about two right now, the physical and the energetic body. So when we're trying to like use all that in one, we're trying to astral project and we're still trying to be in the physical, like it's not going to work, because each body is meant for a certain plane, a certain frequency, a certain vibration, and you have to be at that vibration to operate with that body, if that makes sense. Does this make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Because I know I can get in space about it, but I try to ground it as much as I can with the verbal, my throat chakra. So yeah, so that's what it is. It's like just using that heart for guidance to even get to those realms, right? But don't be forgetting about your lower energies. That's why I talked about in the previous build about like sacrificing, which just means giving up something you love. So these impulses and stuff, these desires, right? They come in and it's like, instead of feeding the five senses or Maya, the illusion, we give it to the heart and we let the heart guide us, like let it do its thing, right? This magic, whatever, wherever you want to call it. And it send us to the higher realm. And so you could use this with the Kundalini, right? It's like, instead of like spreading your seed, you instead of creating externally, you create internally. What is this? So creating internally. So, and I even had to come to my notes here because I didn't want to mess it up for y'all. And this is being recorded, so I give it to you right on the money. So the internal creation is the regeneration process of yourself. You and your obtaining life force, which actually makes you look younger and feel younger and actually live, right? But when you're spreading your seed or externalizing your seed or your creation, that's what, like, even think for a second. I want us to just close our eyes and just think of the word semen. Well, break that down. Semen. So it's like these people, you could think females too, because that's even a lot of why we're confused too. In a lot of these texts, they talk about the man and the God being the man, right? Or him. It's always what about her? That's what we're missing, y'all. Her story, the other side, the unknown. Like we're we don't really talk about that, but this is where it's, we're starting to bridge it now. So the semen whole title, it's like these beings traveling. That's why I said, what's this all these texts, these ancient symbols of these boats and stuff, the flood and all this, right? Like, where are the seamen going? They're either creating externally, which does what? It makes a child. The child is created, grows up, dies. This is the process. But if you create internally, it's regenerating you and obtaining life force, which actually makes you look younger and feel younger and actually live instead of draining it. Not that it's bad or good, human beings, like babies, they're beautiful, it's us, it's ancestors. They're elders, really. You think they're a baby, and they're really elders. Like they know what they're doing. So, just keep this in mind, that this is this is the power of us. You see what we hold here. It's just understanding that we have the ability to create in both realms too. At that, it's not like we could just create a baby. Cool. I'm an image of myself, right? But what about creating internally? Like, how does that work? What is that? This is what I was just explaining. This is regeneration, keeping yourself young, healthy, wealthy, abundant. All the gratitude, like all the beautiful affirmations that we like to give ourselves. So that's how I'll end it with today. And just know that it's nothing that you need to go find the love, or just the harmony or the abundance. It's right here. Don't forget. So thank y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. And just know you made it through the door. Now you get a little guidance, and we'll expand a little more tomorrow.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye, everyone.